The integrated development plans for 2025/2026 must be prepared and submitted for council approval between now and the end of May 2025. The following have to be done. 1. By the end of March 2025, the draft IDP and budget must be submitted. This is not a legislation requirement, but an instruction of the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. The reason for this is to take the IDPs through a process of evaluation, called the credibility assessment. At this stage, the IDP must be submitted to Council for consideration, although it only be approved by the end of May 2025. 2. By the end of May, the final draft IDP and budget must be submitted to Council for approval. The Municipal Finance Management Act stipulates that the budget must be approved before the start of the budget year, and so does the Systems Act in respect of the IDP. I have been a consultant to municipalities since 2003. During this time, I have compiled and reviewed multiple IDPs and implemented performance management systems at municipalities. I have also offered training to municipal officials and councillors about the IDP, municipal budgeting, and performance management. From this perspective, I want to offer the following guidelines to local communities and stakeholders in the IDP. Municipalities are responsible for the functions detailed in Chapter 7 of the Constitution, read in conjunction with Schedules 4 and 5. Download from my website. When you consider an IDP, remember a golden rule: municipalities have limited funds. These funds are meant to finance the functions I have referred to earlier. An IDP is not supposed to include functions such as education or health, which are not included in the Constitution as municipal functions, but as provincial and national ones. If the IDP contains functions not stipulated as municipal, it implies that the municipality will fund functions which are not theirs to perform, taking away money from essential functions that must be provided to communities. Over time, a framework has been established in terms of which IDPs are compiled to comply with the legislative requirements of the Systems Act. This model can be explained as follows. The IDP is actually essentially an integration of the municipality's strategic governance plans, most commonly referred to as sector plans, which include, but are not limited to, the spatial development framework, including land use management, township establishment, and zoning policies. The Water Services and Infrastructure Maintenance Plan, including strategies to maintain and expand water and sanitation infrastructure. Strategies according to which the municipality will be transformed. There may be many more, depending on the type of municipality, for instance, whether it is a coastal municipality, whether there are forests in its area of jurisdiction, whether it is a metropolitan, district, or local municipality, and so forth. These plans and strategies are supposed to be the plans in terms of which the municipality will be governed. The actual, single-year aims and targets thereof are then broken down and included in the IDP. The IDP is compiled for the 5-year term of an elected municipal council. Once a year, annual reviews are supposed to then make minor changes to these strategies and targets, based on local circumstances. Only programs included in the IDP may be funded through the municipal budget. This implies that only plans and strategies that the municipality can afford to be funded through its budget are supposed to be taken from the sector plans and included in the IDP. Well, that is the theoretical model anyway. Obviously, it doesn't actually work like this in practice. For one thing, municipalities are supposed to review all of its sector plans annually. However, this costs thousands of rands for a single plan or strategy. No municipality can afford it. Therefore, the plans that are feeding the IDP are mostly outdated. Also, this system has become theoretical, with municipalities seldom really considering sector plans and strategies when compiling IDPs. Most importantly, it is based on the ideological opinions of councillors, and even more important, those of senior incumbents in the governing party. The South African government has identified 6 key performance areas in terms of which IDPs will be assessed for credibility, based on the so-called 5-year strategic agenda for local government. IDPs are therefore formatically compiled in terms of these 6 key performance areas. The municipal system of planning and performance measurement works as follows. The IDP contains service delivery targets. Targets include indicators of performance, such as the regularity at which infrastructure will be repaired, how quickly, for instance, in terms of hours, will the municipality respond to complaints, and how many roads, water access points, and other infrastructure will be made available. The service delivery targets are funded through the municipal budget. The budget contains financial targets. The important element is that the budget targets and allocations must fund the service delivery targets. There must be a direct link or alignment between the budget and the IDP. Actual achievements must now be measured against IDP and budget targets. For that purpose, a performance management system has been prescribed for South African municipalities. The Municipal Finance Management Act requires of municipalities to compile a service delivery and budget implementation plan. An SDBIP is an annual implementation plan, where service delivery targets for the year is aligned with budget targets for the year. The service delivery targets and the budget targets are then used to compare actual achievements during the year with the targets. For instance, let's say the service delivery target in the IDP is to repair 10 kilometers of streets in the year. The budget makes available 25 million rand to do this. Of the 10 kilometers, 2 kilometers will be done in the first quarter, at a cost of 5 million rand. The service delivery target for the second quarter is 3 kilometers, for which the budget provides 10 million. The remainder of the work must be finished by the end of the financial year, that is, 5 kilometers, for which 10 million rand has been made available on the budget. Using the performance management system, the municipality must now measure whether the targets has been achieved, with the money made available through the budget. For instance, how many kilometers of streets were repaired in the first, second, and fourth quarters, and how much was spent doing it. The results are then reported to Council, National, and Provincial Treasury, national and provincial departments responsible for local government, the Office of the Auditor General, and most importantly, the public, that is, local communities. The performance management system entails more than that. On the staff establishment of the municipality, there are people that must perform the functions to repair streets. These targets are included in their individual performance plans, and they are performance assessed against those targets, service delivery, as well as budget targets. To wrap up, the Service Delivery and Budget Implementation Plan contains service delivery targets from the IDP and financial targets from the budget. Performance is measured through the use of the performance management system. The results are reported through monthly budget reports submitted to Council, mid-year budget and performance reports, and a comprehensive annual report, which must also be made available to and discussed with the public. Very few IDPs actually informs communities and local businesses about the projected performance of the municipality. It is an overflow of outdated, irrelevant data and graphs, which tell the reader and communities nothing about the actual service delivery need and requirements of the municipality. It is overflowing with broadly defined goals, which says nothing about the planned performance of the municipality, and are, at no point, translated into meaningful, detailed performance indicators that can be used to monitor and measure achievements against plans. There are no meaningful costing of services, and no alignment between service delivery targets and budget, except for artificial attempts to comply with the requirements of the municipal budget and performance regulations, which actually only further confuse communities, because these regulations have been developed with the highly technical requirements of Treasury in mind, and not the information needs of communities. Considering the requirements of the legislation regulating municipal governance and administration, demand that your municipality's IDP must be compiled and presented in a format and manner that are clear about strategic development, where will new township development be allowed, how many, and what will be done in instances of unlawful occupation of land. Demand that the municipality produces information about the matters that communities and business actually cares about, and not endless data sheets, with thousands of goals, targets and indicators that are extremely difficult to read and understand, and say very little about anything the local communities care about. A typical residential ward or community need a one-page IDP, where the municipality informs it about two major issues: how will critical infrastructure be maintained, and how will operating schedules and commitments be organized to ensure uninterrupted, good quality access. What capital projects will be implemented in which wards, with time frames. It is actually a requirement of the national government that municipalities must have available development plans for each and every ward. Remember one important thing about capital projects: municipalities seldom have enough money to fund expensive capital projects. They apply for the money to be allocated to their budgets from various national and provincial grants, of which the so-called MIG, Municipal Infrastructure Grant, is the most important. This process can take a long time, sometimes even years. This means that planned capital projects may not be finalized, or even undertaken, over the short term, when they are demanded. How the needs expressed by communities in different wards find expression in the IDP. What is the use that you give information to the municipality about matters required by your community, but it is just ignored? Follow up issues you have communicated with them earlier, or in previous years, that have not been addressed. Ask for updated recent statistical data about development and access to services and economic opportunities that they have used to compile the IDP. How can an IDP be credible when it is based on outdated, incorrect data? How the IDP will be funded. Demand to know how the IDP will be funded. Keep in mind that municipalities tend to overestimate revenues, and that income, as projected in the budget, will probably not materialize. Get therefore information from your municipality about their priority spending programs. Don't accept the hundreds of Excel spreadsheets they give you when you ask for the budget. These are results of the budget and reporting regulations issued by National Treasury, which provided detailed forms according to which budgets must be compiled and submitted to National Treasury. These forms are based on Treasury's highly technical financial requirements and chart of accounts. Communities, and mostly also the majority of councillors, struggle to make any sense of it. Years back, municipalities produced single-sheet Excel spreadsheets, which clearly indicated revenue and expenditure, which was easy to understand and useful. Demand something similar from your municipality. Let them keep their technical forms for internal use. Furthermore, the budget must link each and every service delivery target to budget allocations, in each and every ward. Demand particulars of operational schedules, including the maintenance of water infrastructure, refuse removal, etc., and the budget available for these services per ward. Demand to have this information, and don't just fall for the ideological argument of spatial redress in the municipal area. If you regularly pay your municipal account, you are entitled to services, and to a just and equitable share of your municipality's spending allocations. The law says that municipalities must stipulate what will be done, and set target about how many, how much or how responsively this will be achieved. And importantly, where on the budget has these functions be provided for. Don't allow the municipality to give you hundreds of pages with goals, objectives, indicators, targets, mandates, and more. They do this because it confuses the issues, and in the process, they hide behind bureaucratic paperwork. For you, as a member of the community, It is of no use or interest how many meetings they conduct quarterly, or how many internal reports are compiled, or how many service points they visit in a day. What are important include issues such as: how will key infrastructure in your area be maintained? How much money has been made available for doing so? And how quickly and responsively will the municipality react when complaints are lodged about problems with such infrastructure? How will the municipality ensures that you have access to good quality services? They must be specific. The law says that municipalities must stipulate what will be done, and set targets about how many, how much, or how responsively this will be achieved. And importantly, where on the budget has these functions be provided for? I will conduct an online workshop on the Zoom platform on March 21, 2025, which is a public holiday, about this topic, where I will answer questions about IDPs and the IDP process. If you want to participate, go to my website, https://www.franzmanar.com, to the events page, where you will find the workshop scheduled. Confirm your attendance by RSVP.